He's a bitter man.
What springs to mind when you think of Tipton in the heart of the Black Country? William Perry, the Tipton slasher world champion boxer. The extensive canal network carrying goods all over the world. Or maybe the industry encapsulated in Tipton. Yes, all those things. But I want to talk to you about an institution that's been with us for a number of years and is now a successful company, again, thanks to the efforts of Pete Towler, entrepreneur, ex-chef on the QE2, Mad O'Rourke's Pie Factory.
Where are you from originally?
South Wales.
Yeah, I thought I'd heard a bit of a twang.
Yeah, so people always think I'm Irish, but that was Colin's department. But no, I find the Black Country people very similar to the Welsh. Very nice, very friendly human beings. So yeah, I actually don't go back to Wales very much. I love, I married a Black Country girl. I love the Black Country in every way. So I enjoy coming to work now and again.
I understand that you've got a long connection and history with the Mad O'Rourke pub chain as it was. Yeah. Do you want to just tell us, in your own words, how you started with Mad O'Rourke's Pie Factories?
Yeah, it happened many years ago, somewhere in the region of 30 odd years ago. I used to work on the QE2 as a waiter, and I seen this lady in the Queen's Lounge, which is a really posh area, with a very little company sweatshirt on. And I said to her, I knew some pubs, i.e. the Pie Factory and the Dry Dock, the Lumphammer Beer. She said, yes, I own those. And that's how I met Sheena O'Rourke. And we got on very well. We were off Madeira at the time, and I was just on a world cruise. You don't get off on a world cruise. So she gave me a card and said, if you ever want to get into pub management, give me a ring. So after the world cruise, I gave her a ring. Colin was more of the creator. He came up with the ideas, Sheena ran, and Sheena was great. We got on very, very well. And then I always remember the interview, Sheena's there, and dog was running around. He decided to pee on the floor right in front of me. I thought, this is interesting, So they offered me a job as assistant manager, because I never worked in pubs, at Droitwich, and I lived there for a bit. So they were having trouble here. It wasn't doing as well as it used to do. So she said, do you know the Pie Factory? And I said, I certainly do. And said, do you fancy giving it a go, running it? But the beauty was I was close to my daughter. My daughter, I remember she lived in King's Heath at the time. And she got on the bus here once, stopped the bus over there. She was ever so proud the bus ticket actually had the Pie Factory on the bus ticket.
That was a destination on the bus ticket?
Yeah. So it's really,
wow.
Slowly but surely I ended up being their ops guy, especially on the food side. I brought in all the food ideas, new ideas.
So hang on, who was responsible for the Desperate Dan pie then?
Well, that was Colin's idea,
right? Without
question, But you don't know, in one pub it might have been totally different to what it would be in another pub. Yeah. Basically, some of the pubs, smaller pubs, used to say whatever's left over, and we weren't happy with that, so we wanted to. That's what a Desperate Dan pie is. That's how it should be. And that's
so you standardised it basically?
Yeah, I standardised the whole food around the business.
Mad O'Rourke's Pie Factory went on to hard times, was sold to Usher's, a large brewery down in Wiltshire that has hit hard times itself and is no longer here.
I've heard of Usher's at Trowbridge because they made pretty decent beer. I like Usher's beers. And the MD, Peter Brooks, I think was his name. He's all smart and knew how to run the world type of person, especially Black Country pubs. And he came in with his big wigs and said, and Sheena and Colin, that was it, they were gone. They didn't offer me, I don't think they offered me a job, because I was going to go with Sheena and Colin anyway. They felt that their beer could automatically come in, and they didn't even bother with the Lumphammer branding or anything like that, and that's where their biggest mistake was, in my opinion. They forgot about the Black Country concept. They thought, Peter Brooks was a big national figure in the brewing industry. He thought he knew it all, and obviously he didn't, because they went bust. I think on the back of this deal, I think they went bust. In the end, I'd basically had enough, and I left, and that was in 2000, And Desperate Dawn, who's always been the chef here, that's what we call her. She's
Desperate Dawn?
From Tipton.
Yeah.
And she'd only just left, really, due to health purposes. A great friend of mine. And she kept ringing me and said, oh, it's going downhill. And it really had gone down, down to silly, terrible figures. So I rang Ushers of Trowbridge up and said, you're not doing very well in Tipton. I want to buy it. And he said, all right then. And
that was a heck of a opening sales ploy, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's quite simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I found the money somehow and bought it in August the 1st, 2000. I remember that day very well. Came back and I lived upstairs. I used to live upstairs for 10 odd years. There's a flat upstairs.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely the business did very well. And one of my best things I ever I didn't invent it, but a friend of mine who runs Mr. Smith's chip shop in Swindon, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, best chip shop ever, in my opinion. And he does battered chips.
Swindon in just outside Tipton.
Yeah, Kimber, Swindon. And I said, I want you to show me how to do battered chips. He said, it's all about the equipment. So I went out and bought from Middleton's, I don't know if you know Middleton's. Just behind that wall over there, there's a double range Middleton's fish and chip shop fryer, just like you'd have in the chip shop. And I bought all the equipment, the chipper machine, everything. It's all there at the back. And we do chips just like you would get in the chip shop, because people forget that yes, you have a pie, but the other half of the business, other half of the meal is a chip. So yeah, we go through a ton and a half of potatoes a week now.
A ton and a half of potatoes a week.
Simply, because that's fortunately we're really busy all the time, and great staff here. So I started looking at the place, and so I converted upstairs into bedrooms. Fortunately, because of Peaky Blinders, it's made the Black Country very in vogue. I believe that, and it's like with our pies that we sell out now and all that. A lot of it is down to ex Black Country people, travelling all over the country, emigrating, which is hard to believe, from Tipton to Scotland. A weird concept.
Well, this brings us on to the pies by post. Tell us about that, please.
Well, again, that happened because of the lockdown. Obviously, it devastated our business. We employ over 30 people here.
Yeah.
So we're quite a big employer. And we basically needed, fortunately, we own the freehold of the business, so we didn't end up having to pay rent and things like that. But it was a terribly hard time for myself personally and my wife, because my wife is heavily involved in the business. She does all the business, the back rooms.
What's your wife's name?
Susan.
Susan.
So she runs the whole back side of the business, all the the HR, the health and safety, the very important parts which people don't really think about. So we came up with the idea of the pies by post. We put it on Facebook and all that, and the first week we sold over 100 boxes. We started with boxes of 6, and we teamed up with DPD, which are a great company, DPD local.
Yeah.
And they do an overnight service, and we started, a huge amount of pies going to Edinburgh and Glasgow and Cornwall and all this. And I had their email address, so for research, said, how do you know of us? And he says, I'm from Willenhall. So it's a lot of people. But what also works very well is a lot of people buy them like Father's Day. You can buy your dad a box of pies, for a Father's Day or a birthday. So you get, you can buy them, but you can post them to other addresses. And that's when we started bottling the beer. So you can buy 6 pies and 2 pints of lump hammer gold in a presentation box and send them anywhere in the country. Literally, as long as it's mainland UK, we'll send you, and it gets there the following day. So it goes all right.
That's incredible. And that, I tell you what, that encapsulates, and I know you're from South Wales, and Colm O'Rourke and all that was from Ireland, but that to me encapsulates the Black Country, to be quite honest.
Yeah, very good point.
Quirky, doesn't take itself seriously, warm-hearted, I would say.
Yeah. Good point, yeah. But yes, it does, and there's a lot of us, from all parts of the world here, and all getting on very well.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
I urge you to come to Mad O'Rourke's Pie Factory in Tipton. It's been an institution for years. You won't be disappointed. And they've got rooms as well. What a result.
If you had, say for example, you had guests from France or Spain or something like that, where else would you bring them?
Without a doubt.
You know, it's an easy no-loser because it's so unusual inside. It's the place to go.
It's like an alcoholic version of The Prisoner, really, isn't it? You know.